And good morning. Welcome to Focus on the Arts. I'm your host, Massey. And of course, every Friday we talk to the movers and shakers of the arts community, the people that are making things happen for your entertainment, benefit, and mine. Our guest today is in Memphis for a book signing with one of our great clients, Laurelwood Shopping Center. Is actually the booksellers at Laurelwood. And he is, it's an involved situation, so we had to get him here so we could talk to him and find out just exactly what's going on with all of this. His name is Lonz Cook. The book is entitled When Love Evolves. And Mr. Cook is a technology specialist and an adjunct professor at Keller Graduate School of Management at DeVry University in Atlanta, Georgia. Also an ex-Marine, jarhead, but we won't hold that against him. And he's going to be signing copies of his book at Laurelwood tomorrow, Saturday, October 13th at 1 p.m. And
thank you very much. It's an honor being here. It's my first time in Memphis, and I've been received with open arms, and it's wonderful.
That's good. That's good. I noticed on the bio it said that you had a love for Beale Street.
Oh yeah. Love the blues. I grew up a lot listening to it because the household ran. I grew up in Georgia, South Carolina border, a town called Augusta, and they still, my parents and everyone used to listen to the blues in between gospel. So it was gospel and blues that ran into the house. And I am a musician myself, so I got a little bit into it because blues, you get a chance to show your feelings, play with your heart, and since I play trombone, it just fit right in. So yeah.
Bone, I love that smooth sound.
That smooth sound, exactly.
So what got you into being an author? I mean, this is a varied background of yours.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I started writing when I was a kid. We always tell stories. My mother used to say, you had great stories. You could just tell a story, kid. You always entertained yourself. And when I got into the Marines, back in the Marines in the early days, we didn't have the internet connectivity that we have today. So I used to write love letters for my fellow shipmates and just have them either copy my letters for them and send it to their girlfriends or wives. So, and that would have been a great book itself, right? Just talking about the stories and results. But, that's what I really did. And I've always written. I wrote a lot as a young man growing up. But I never knew that I could write books until I tried to write stories for my daughters because I wanted them to select a guy that's worth it, I wanted to show them the values of a good guy. So my first book was Good Guys Finish Last. So I kind of gave that to them. And then they told me, Dad, thanks a lot, but you just don't know yet, This strong message about your selection, and When Love Evolves is the sequel to that, Good Guys Finish Last. Okay. Because the characters I introduce are actually the kind of men I wanted them to focus on, like the good guys, the bad guys, and different. Because when a young lady walks in, she's, she wants the excitement, and then as she matures, she thinks about the excitement later and looks for potential, and then after potential, then becomes reality. So I wanted to show them that progress, and I showed them that in those two books.
Oh. Well, now that's great instruction for daughters.
Yes.
I wish I had a book like this.
I know, right?
Yeah. But the genre of romance novels is Alistair Cook, or it's a sort of thing that we don't think about going into, especially in African American.
That's true because we look for drama and we do a lot of urban drama at that. But what I did was I wrote about behaviors that's common amongst all people, and what I put in the story happens to be what someone coming across to an individual that they're interested in, kind of qualities that they should seek as a mate. I try to show that in the stories, as well as some of the challenges that they have that they don't recognize. So when they make a bad choice, what happens? So I bring the story in about how romance actually helps that person to partner and bring in the fix or the solution to a process or situation.
You seem very passionate about the idea of romance as it used to be.
Yes, as it used to be, because we've lost that art. We a lot of times we aren't gentlemen like, back in the day we open doors and do those different things, or show up with a rose just because, or do the picnic thing. We've lost that art, I think. And in my stories, I try to bring those things back. I bring it back to light, saying, listen, it's more to being a partner and finding a mate. There's got to be some romance in the process because you want that relationship to last forever and not so much to be a short-term thing. So I try to write those things.
You think it's the pop culture itself that has drawn people away from romance?
I think it's a part of it. That's a part of the influence. We've gotten away from it because it's even in the music. You can hear it in the music that we don't have those romantic things that's happening in the old songs. It's kind of like the blues. Exactly. We don't have those beautiful lyrics that pull people together. We have the culture where it's quick, get into it, see what happens and get out. And now what I'm trying to do with my stories happens to be look, understand, develop, swoo, do the classic, use finesse, do those good things. So when you finally get together, you really want to make that investment and you want to make it everlasting.
Right. We're talking to author Lonz Cook. His book is When Love Evolves, and he's on a national tour right now. He will be at the booksellers at Laurelwood at 3387 Perkins Extended tomorrow, Saturday, October 13th at 1 p.m. And if you're interested in for more information about it, you can call the book booksellers at Laurelwood at 901-682-8436. 901-6. Yeah.
When Love Evolves is actually the story, and he gets involved. He gets her involved with the mafia.
Yeah.
So they get involved with the mafia, and she goes back to her old boyfriend to help her get out of it. So he comes to the rescue, but at the same time, she starts to get those films rekindled, but he's already introduced another woman in his life. So there's another mix-up going on, and it's all about music, business, marketing, and it's about saving a large company that they inherited from their great aunt. Yeah, it's a lot moving, but the whole message is be careful who you select as a mate, and that's one of the main things that I push through the story.
Careful who you select as a mate. Gosh,
yeah, and you can actually get a sneak peek of When Love Evolves at www.lonzcook.net.
LONZ
Cook.net, lonzcook.net. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, called an emerging author, an emerging novelist.
Yeah.
How did you go from being a jarhead to?
Oh, jarhead! I like that. It's like once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
That's what we used to do.
Yeah,
man.
well, we still, yeah, and that's good. I used to do tapes for training tapes, as in studio, as well as right. They always said that you could tell a story, so I never took the chance until I retired from the Marine Corps. And I didn't think people would like the first book, but it shocked me. And yes, it did really well, and I was shocked to. They said you have to continue, so I wrote a second book called A Choice to Yield, and that's about a relationship in Georgia, and based in Atlanta, where a woman makes a selection about a guy who happens to be a different ethnicity, and they have to go through different changes. And then the next thing is that I wrote When Love Evolves, so I have it all together where they're a combination of stories. It's good. It's really good.
Cool. That's interesting. I mean, and again, it's so cool that you have chosen this romance genre. People say that right now that people don't read very much anymore. There's the internet, there's television, and so on and so forth. But this is a testament to the fact that people do read, and especially this genre of romance novels. There's still a big population of people.
Right, it's a $6 billion industry, romance, and it's the most market right now, because what happens is people read it, and once they put down, they go get another one, and they continue to read in the romance genre more so than any other. Yeah, it's a $6 billion industry. And also because in my books I write true to life fiction, because I want you to understand that when you read my novels, you recognize those characters, because they can be an aunt, a cousin, a friend, a relative, a brother, sister, someone that you hung out with back in your younger days. You recognize those behaviors, because I base everything on our social behaviors, on how we relate to other people. So what's the most important part about my story is, for a lot of readers, is they don't try new authors a lot. And that's why we go out and try to push people and say, give us a chance, and look at the reviews. And we can't please everyone, but we please the majority script instead. So I didn't go out looking for a publisher. The publisher found me through the independent.
Oh man, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And the book is When Love Evolves. Lonz Cook, he will be at Laurelwood Shopping Center tomorrow, 387 Perkins Extended, at the booksellers at Laurelwood, and it'll be at 1 p.m. And I already got 2 people who got a book.
Yes.
But we're going to get 2 other people who will call, and those 2 come to the book signing and go to dinner. That'd
be fantastic.
How generous is that?
Well, well, I have to give back. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
And you're working on the next one anyway.
Yes, I just wrote a book on Cyber Affair. It's about a couple that meet online. One lives in San Francisco, the other lives in Miami. So that's going to be, because that's a current thing. Yeah. But for more information about me, folks, you should visit www.lonzcook.net.
Romance novelist of all things, I think it's so cool.
From warrior to romance, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's too cool, man. Lonz Cook, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you.
I hope the book selling goes off quite well tomorrow.
I hope so too.